Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin Strain coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner. And for those who may not have paid attention or just chose to ignore it, last Sunday I did not stream because I did not get done with an international food fair that was held at my mosque till 7 o'clock is when it ended, and then spent time cleaning it up. And so that's why I didn't stream, and I had posted saying that I would not. And it appears that I am able to do a proper horizontal stream, which I'm very happy about. So I didn't get the thumbnail done because I was trying to keep my phone in position where I could type the title, and I got that done, but then it just went live, and so I'll add the thumbnail later. But what I got is number 2 in the group of MREs that I got off a site called Ration House, and there's my Iowa brother prepping life in the house. Thanks for dropping in. That's okay, you know, life happens. Spicy tuna rolls is here. Warnick does not put date codes on their bags, unlike Sapaco and Ameriqual. But according to the listing, these are all supposed to have had a 2025 inspection date, so they could have been made in 22, like the first one that I opened up. So this is Mexican style chicken stew. It's menu 15. Now this time I hope that the peelable seal will actually cooperate, because last time it did not. Sometimes these peelable seals can be hit or miss. And there's Cliff in the house, and Cold War Prepper is here. Thanks for dropping in. It is off camera because it's just easier for me to get a little leverage. And looks like got it to work this time. Another thing that Warnick has not started doing is the double bagging. So everything is just loose here. So this is the Mexican style chicken stew in the pouch. There's Hugo Homestead in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Got a chocolate hazelnut protein drink powder. And there's a lot of powder in this bugger. This is the nutritional card. And it looks like this one made an oops, because it says chili with beans and it has a mark through it, meaning this is the incorrect sleeve, and they didn't bother to correct that. This is general nutrition advice on this side, but this is a dessert And it's in one of these types of pouches where you just pull off this and you can squeeze it, basically almost drink it out of here. And this is like apparently a smoothie. It says apple, strawberry, carrot. This is something new. I've never seen this, not even in a humanitarian daily ration. Cheese-filled pretzels, otherwise known as combos. Got the usual spoon. Accessory pack. Apparently these are no longer marked as an A, B, C, or D, or whatever. Just accessory pack with nothing on it. It just has some code on here. 2041, so the first number is the year, so 2022, and the 41st day, 2022, is when this accessory pack was put together. The full-length chocolate First Strike bar. Cheese spread with jalapenos, perfect for the chicken stew. And here is a nutrition card for the chicken stew. And this is a nutrition card for that apple, strawberry, carrot puree. $120 calories. So that is a new item. Flameless ration heater. Set that off to the side. And then the last item I'll pull out of here is the plain crackers. And this was packed at the end of 2021. 361st day of 2021. They probably put this sleeve in here simply because it could be used if you use a flameless ration heater. Stick the retort in that, put the water in it, and then stick that thing in here. But since I don't do that, I don't see a sense in holding on to that. And the spoon, because I use my titanium spork, I hold on to these and add these to my stash of plastic utensils. So this is the cold drink option. There's LC in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Inside the accessory pack, we got the tiny salt packets that they're now using. Same peppermint gum. Usual rear roll. The wet wipe. And matches. Sometimes MREs do not come with matches, but this one does. White tip. And hot sauce powder. There's the ingredients in that. It's got paprika in there twice. So maybe this is what they're going to instead of a liquid hot sauce, basically a powder. And no hot drink of any kind. So I don't know if that is something that they're cutting down on, or what the deal is with that, or if that was an oversight. Now powder in here goes up to here, and that's where the fill line is. I've never had this flavor shake before, so this will be a new one. I did that off camera because it would be too hard to try to pour this on camera. But what I'm going to do, I zip seal and then I fold it over. Want to make sure this thing is completely sealed up. There's Mike Kreischer in the house. Now because there's no hot drink option, I'm going to go do something about that. And I'm just going to let that sit there and hang out. Because those shakes are notorious for not mixing very well. So I'm going to go get a tea bag for my delicious mug. And then I will put this into the pot to heat that up. I just took the kettle back into the kitchen just to get it out of the way. This is another Katepa Pride. A canyon tea that I like. I just set the cheese spread on top of that. I'm giving this puree a shake, but then I'd let it go down. I'm putting all of the trash into the MRE bag. Let's see what this stuff looks like. The carrot color is definitely coming through, that's for sure. So that is the apple strawberry carrot puree. These are the cheese combos. I put an oxygen absorber in there. Then for those coming in late, this is a 2022 Menu 15 Mexican style chicken stew packed by Warnick. After the stream is over, I will add the year. To the title. There's a good hiss on those crackers. Very little breakage. I'm very happy about that. These first strike bars come in two sizes. This is the full size, 2.3 ounces or 165 grams. And then there's the half size, which would usually be found in the first strike rations or in the MOREs, a modular operational ration enhancement. Sitting the cheese spread on top of my tea actually was enough to warm it up, so it can be easily kneaded. But I won't open that quite yet. Now I'm going to go ahead and pour this. See how well it mixed. I'm going to put the whole top end of the bag into the drinking jar. There's still a fair amount of stuff in there, so I'm going to take a splash of water. That is a chocolate hazelnut protein shake. It's a pattern on the glass, so that's why it looks like that. I will go get the main of it and I'll be right back. Got a paper towel to dry it off with. The tear notch goes this way, so I shake it down before I tear it across. I'm going to reposition this just a little bit. There we go. I just squeeze the tea bag because that's what I do. Just making sure I didn't get any stew on my first strike bar. Got tomato, big pieces of chicken, there's corn. Definitely smell the Mexican style spices. It's got a nice kick to it. It almost tastes like chili, like a chili spice. Surprisingly enough, the chicken is not overly dry. The corn has a bit of snap to it, which is nice. There's tomato in here. Here's a good look at that. skin on. This is actually not bad. Going for a dunk with a cracker. The cracker does take away from the flavor. But I think we can fix that. Most of this is going right in there. Let's see, I'm going to go through the chat. I'm going to fix this. There we go. I'm just checking to see if I missed anybody coming in. Doesn't look like it. You can see a good look at a piece of the jalapeno and the cheese spread. That's a bit of the sauce from the stew. We'll see what this cheese does to this chicken stew. Kemp Patton Family Compound in the house. Thanks for dropping in. We won't tell you. We won't tell anyone you're playing. You know, kids got to do what a kid's got to do. And this one had only one drink option, and the chocolate hazelnut protein shake. No electrolyte drink, none of that. It doesn't taste like a protein shake. But then again, these things are notorious for not mixing very well, so I'm just giving it a stir. The hazelnut is just barely there. For the most part, it tastes just like a chocolate protein shake. And I added the jalapeno cheese spread to this Mexican chicken stew. I've got a Katepa Pride Kenyan tea in my delicious mug. Yeah, that's not cool. These dang mice like to mess with everything. These are the cheese-filled pretzel combos. That's what the filling looks like. Thanks for dropping in, Elsie. So the combo's keeping the cheese thing going on. I was hoping that there would be tortillas in here. So Warnick missed the mark on that one by putting plain crackers in here instead of tortillas. Chocolate First Strike bar. Got Rice Krispies in it. One thing you do not want to eat when it's 90 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Got up to 93 Fahrenheit here in Des Moines today. I'm rolling a combo in it just for the heck of it. Yeah, it sure would have. But I'll still eat it with the crackers anyway. Now this puree, it's a apple, strawberry, carrot, is something I would have expected in a humanitarian daily ration. Because in those you get these odd combinations of, say, sweet potato banana or sweet potato grape or whatever the heck they're doing. So I'm just going to eat a bite of just plain cracker. It just looks like orange applesauce. I do actually get the carrot flavor. It cuts through the apple and the strawberry. It is a little odd, but because carrots can be sweet, I mean, not super sweet, but they can have a bit of sweetness to it. It's actually not that strange. It's unexpected, but I don't know if this was an experiment that they did with these flavors. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I was out at one of the city parks today with members of the White Eagle Multicultural Powwow Committee, which I am a part of, even though I'm not a native. I was accepted into that. I've been volunteering with that powwow doing kids crafts for several years. But I got a ride with one of the others out to one of the city parks to do a cleanup, but the neighborhood over there actually does a very good job of cleaning up that park. There were a few areas that had to be relieved of trash. But I'll tell you, it was a hot one. Even staying under the shade of the pavilion where the picnic tables were, I could still feel that heat, but nevertheless, you know, we had a good time, and we basically adopted this part, so to speak. So every so often, a crew will go out there and pick up trash. And even though my right knee is giving me crap, you know, I still supplied an ice cream container full of mixed fruit for lunch. And I took my reacher thing that I bought with my the earlier this year. I got it, or late last year, I got it with my quarterly spending allowance that I get from my health insurance that I can use towards specific categories of products like that reacher thing, or over the counter medicines, certain supplements, certain hygiene products, things like that. But the city parks department actually makes those available to those who do regularly clean the park for picking up trash. And I was not aware of that until today, so they have a bunch of them that have the orange handle so that they're easily seen, where mine has a black handle. But that makes it so easy to pick up trash where you don't have to bend over. I have seen groundskeepers using those things to pick up trash. So it's not just for people with a disability. My oldest sister got one of those after she got a new fridge because it's taller than her original fridge. That was in the house when she bought it. And so she couldn't reach anything up on top, so she got one of those grabbers. So they're very handy little things. Obviously, you can't pick up anything super big or super heavy with it, but for getting a can down off of a high shelf or a glass jar down off of a high shelf, yeah, they're totally worth it. There is Tim Riley in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, I actually had a pet mouse many, many years ago that someone had brought them to my school, and we actually kept them in the school for a little while in the science room along with our pet rat. We named it Ben. And that little rat was fun to have, but I brought home a mouse with my parents' permission. You know, they bought me one of those Haber Trail cages for him to go in. But the cat we had at the time got into it somehow and got my mouse. Yeah, some, yeah, in their pet area, you might have them. Some people do raise mice, just as pets. They may train them. Maybe some look for a specific look in a mouse. Or people like my younger nephew raises his own mice that he feeds to his snakes. And he raises crickets to feed to his geckos. He is a licensed reptile breeder. He mainly breeds corn snakes and certain type of gecko. I don't remember the species name, but I think they're just so darn cute. Oops, sorry about that. Didn't mean to bump the foam out. Now this chocolate hazelnut protein shake is not too bad. Hazelnut is just barely there. Yeah, if you have the betta fish, yeah, they probably went after those. There's the Carlos Perry in the house. Thanks for dropping in. $20.22 Mexican style chicken stew. Had the cheese spread with jalapenos. Most of it went into here. A little bit went in onto the cracker. So that's why it looks so bright orange. I put a few bits of cracker in there, put a combo in there. I like this chicken stew. And this was in the accessory pack. Hot sauce powder. Yep. There's a date code on that. This is the first time I've seen the hot sauce powder. So I'm keeping this one sealed up. Maybe at another time I might open it up. Got the cheese pretzel combos here. Now this is an oddity, but it's actually not too bad. Strawberry, or apple, strawberry, carrot, in that order. It's like applesauce with carrot and strawberry in it. And you can definitely taste the carrot. It's pretty prominent, but it doesn't fully overpower the apple and the strawberry. This is something I would have expected in an HDR. It's not as thin as the applesauce, This just looks like regular applesauce consistency. But because they put it in that retort pouch with the little drink end on it, you could have easily sucked it out of there. Okay, DeCarlos, we'll just call it early for next year. How's that? Now the chicken chunks in here, not dry, and I'm very happy about that. Putting the combos in here does give it a bit of extra crunch and a little extra cheese flavor. Of course, you get the salt, but still. As I said earlier, I wish I would have put tortillas in here. I think that would have been better. It got up to 93 here in Des Moines. But I think the heat index is well over 100. Yeah, so it has cooled off a little bit with the sun going down. Yesterday when I looked at the forecast, it showed, I think, 100 for Tuesday, but that has been since dropped down. And Wednesday's high has been changed to 89 instead of 90 something, so I'm okay with that. I think I'll go ahead and take a bite of this first strike bar. This is the chocolate flavor, full size. That's probably just warm by your standards. Southern California is not a cool place. I just hope you guys don't get any wildfires out there. You guys have had enough of that. Well, I guess, DeCarlos, you'll have to check that out and give an update for my Iowa brother who has been there. I have never been that far east, I've only been as far east as Columbus, Ohio. And that was way back in '83. Yeah, we don't have any place like that here. So I am kind of curious if they are true authentic or if they're kind of Americanized like a lot of places around here. One place that I do miss that I used to go to once in a while, and I was actually friends with the family that used to run it, called Raul's. But they went belly up probably before like 2015, I think. Of course, one of the people that I know who is related to the family that owned it has been working at Walgreens for decades. Yeah, I used to love going into Raul's. To me, they were the most authentic place that I know of that I've been to here in Des Moines. I'm sure there are others that they're just either way above my price range or they're just not convenient for me to get to, so I just don't bother. This last Sunday, the International Food Fair that we had at my mosque was a big hit. The pierogi, I cut them in half because I got the full size ones. And the 2 bags that I got only had 24 in each. So after I cooked them in olive oil and a little butter, I cut them in half and then I sprinkled some Parmesan cheese on them. And then some of the oil and butter that I cooked them in, I put some of that back on it. And that was a big hit. Yeah, there's a Popeyes up in Canada that a friend that I know up in London, Ontario, uh, she has so many complaints about that Popeyes. They mess up orders. They don't like it when people who use wheelchairs or scooters come in. Even though by Canadian law they're supposed to be accommodated, just like down here. So she just does not care to go there anymore. I don't know anything about Church's Chicken because I've never been to one. Oh, that sucks. What'd you do that for? Someone must have had it in a plane. That's a real crapper. I hope it doesn't get too bad for you. Oh, that'd be a real bummer. I guess people weren't too careful over there. So far I have been fortunate. I have never gotten it. So I guess I'll see how long I can keep that going. Speaking of, the new version has been approved, and it should be available for people to get early next month. Of course, that's up to people to decide for themselves whether they want to get it or not. Oh, I just noticed my tray slid, so my cheese landed on my table. Actually, I don't think I've been to a Waffle House. IHOP has provided the breakfast for the White Eagle powwow for the past several years. So they give us a big bag of, or a couple of big bags of sausage links and a whole mess of pancake and waffle batter. Of course, being that they're pork sausage, I will not eat those. I usually just eat the pancakes. But the cook brings the full-size Blackstone, which is almost double the size of this table. This one here, this table is just a little bit bigger in width than my sister's Blackstone. She has the smallest size. So it's got 2 heat zones, whereas the really big one has 4. Yeah, my mom had those taste issues when she got it while she was in a rehab center last year. because of that exposure, her release date from that got pushed back a week until she tested negative. But everyone in my family has gotten it except for me and my oldest sister. As actually, my niece and my great niece have not gotten it either, but my other two sisters and my brother and my nephews got it, and my younger nephew's wife got it. So, but I have not gotten it. So, you know, like I said, people will choose to get it, and other people will choose not to get the poke. Yeah, that would have been probably a bad reaction to it. Just a guess, but yeah, it's not like it prevents you from getting it. The idea is to make it not be so bad. There's Chosick in the house. Thanks for dropping in. I'm going to show you what I've been chowing down on. 2022 pack by Warnick. And the only drink option included was this chocolate hazelnut protein shake, which is not bad. At least it doesn't taste like medicine. But no hot drink. So I got some Kachepa tea in my Delicious mug. And shout out to Delicious. And this is an oddity. Apple, strawberry, carrot. It just looks like orange applesauce. Oh, yeah, no doubt. I know people who have taken those long flights, and from what I've heard, coming home is worse than going out. I've heard that the jet lag and the messing up of your body clock is really is worse when you're flying back than going out, but I don't know. I've only had one time zone hop, and that was it. Back in '83 when I went to Mexico, I flew from Little Rock to Dallas, and then from Dallas to Guadalajara. So that was not a bad flight at all. It really didn't seem like much of a change. And the next time I hopped a bird, I was up here in Des Moines. I flew down to St. Louis, changed planes. Then from there went down to Little Rock. My brother was graduating from high school. But the person who paid for my flight just got a one-way ticket, and then I I was brought back. Someone drove me back up here. But there are just some technical issues with that flight because got to St. Louis, they got everybody in the plane, and then the mechanics decided to change the tires with a fully loaded plane, which I found quite odd. You think they would want an empty plane before they would do something like that? Yeah. These are cheese-filled pretzel. It's just the cheddar cheese flavor, not the pizza flavor. But this is a nice treat to put in there. I don't get why they didn't include coffee or hot chocolate or cappuccino. Only this. It kind of makes me wonder if there were some changes going on. They're just phasing it in during this time, or if there were some serious lapses in quality control and not all of the correct items were put in there, like that sleeve that you would stick this in if you used it. It's got the nutritional info for beans. and not the Mexican chicken stew. They had to add an additional nutrition info card for that. Yeah, that hop to Dallas, that would be nothing. And if you tried to sleep during those long flights, I bet it would not have been easy, even if it was dark outside the plane. I wouldn't have been able to sleep, too much light. Yeah, that. Yeah, some people that I know who have a daughter who lives in Malaysia, she married a Malaysian and just chose to live there and become a permanent resident of Malaysia. They used to go there a couple times a year, but they have severely cut back on that because it is just so hard to handle, and because they are up there in years. They are old enough to be my parents, and they just can't handle those long flights anymore. So they just use the internet to talk to their daughter. You know, they'll use an app like WhatsApp or whatever, or FaceTime. But this daughter has come here a couple of times. Yeah, I would not want to try to do a long flight like that. Yeah, this actually was pretty good. I'm disappointed that got crackers instead of tortillas. And this oddity here is actually not too bad at all. It's just something I would have expected in a humanitarian daily ration. You know, the carrot is definitely prominent, but it's not overpowering. This protein shake is actually not bad. I can barely pick up the hazelnut flavor, but I will still finish that off. I mixed it in the pouch instead of just pouring the powder into the drinking jar and just stirring it. I shook it in the pouch and then I just let it sit for a while and then poured it out. And then there's a lot of stuff left in there, so I put another ounce of water in that bag, shook it up, and added that to this. So this one had the cheesy thing going on, and it had the chocolate thing going on. Again, this is the first time I have ever laid my eyes on one of these packets. So Transpackers Services. Garden State Gardener's neck of the woods. Although I don't think he's anywhere near Piscataway. I think that city's more inland as opposed to being right on the Jersey Shore where Joe lives. But next time I get one of these, I might actually open it up, but I'm going to keep this one sealed. And this makes me wonder if this is what they're going to as far as spicing things up if they don't use the pepper flake. Got paprika on there twice. So the paprika powder and then paprika extract, or like a paprika oil. Yeah, chocolate first strike bar. A few years ago, I did a comparison between one of these and the Canadian Soldier Fuel Bar. Same flavor, very similar look. Very similar in flavor. So that was neat doing that one. I dropped some of these combos into the chicken stew. Definitely a better addition than the plain crackers. Now, if I would have got the chipotle tortillas with this, that would have been really sweet. I think you can now buy it from some companies that do the long-term storage food. Yeah, this is definitely an interesting item. I think Old Smoky has opened up one of these. I'm not sure if any others have, but I think he has gotten it. But the Hoosier Hill Farms, I think, sells it, or Azure Standard might sell it. You can probably even search it on Amazon to find hot sauce powder. Or you can create your own by powdering up different chiles and of course, if you have a freeze dryer, you could freeze dry all the ingredients and then mix it up. Although I have no idea how vinegar is powdered, unless it's just boiled out and you get the residue. I have no idea how that works. It does make me curious how vinegar is powdered. And for those that do have a freeze dryer, they could probably have all kinds of fun with stuff like that. Steve 1989 has a freeze dryer, so he has come up with some unique things. Yeah, old school prepper, she's got a freeze dryer. And Chef Tech 86, otherwise known as Mark, and some of the live streams that he is a guest on, he's got a freeze dryer, so he likes to experiment. And then Tack Kevin of ALK Urban Homestead, used to be known as ALK Foraging and Adventures, she's got a freeze dryer. She went in with some other people to buy it, and is kept at her house. And so the other people who helped pay for it, they get first dibs on using it when, so they take turns with Tack using it. But anyone, I guess, if they contact her, if you want her to freeze dry something for you, I'm not sure how she's done this, but if you just outright pay her to do it and you keep all the food, that's run through it. Or you pay her some and then she gets to keep a portion of whatever is freeze dried. I have no idea how that works because I've never contacted her about having anything freeze dried. But yeah, there you go. Mike can experiment if he hasn't already. There was a channel, I'm not subscribed to them, but a channel called The Provident Prepper. That couple owns a freeze dryer. So they do a lot of their own freeze drying. And because the wife has specific dietary needs based on her health condition, she has to avoid certain foods and eat more of certain foods. So she freeze dries a lot of stuff. Thanks for dropping in. And Prepping Life, my Iowa brother. I'm still looking after Pumpkin. She's sleeping in the bedroom like a lazy cat. Sometimes she will make an appearance during my stream, sometimes not. But maybe I'll toss up a short of her. I want to catch her when she's doing one of her yawning meows. But every time I see her do it, I'm in the bathroom. And I don't take my phone whenever I go into the bathroom. Mila did it once in a while. Never was able to catch her doing it. But Pumpkin does it a lot more. I think it's so funny when cats yawn and meow at the same time. Yeah, see, you look at his logo, Jeep Things Outdoors used to be his channel name. but then he changed it, but he kept the old logo. I guess just to, because he still loves Jeeps and specifically certain Jeeps. And I guess he wanted to make it easy for people to know that it's the same guy, just new channel name. He also lives in an apartment like I do, but a bigger one since they got a kid. But he has a technician ham radio license. I don't know if he's upgraded to any, the other, either the other two levels above technician. That's something I gotta do. I did get my GMRS license issue straightened out. The processing system that the FCC uses to process the GMRS license applications, that completely messed up, and the emails were not getting sent out. So I had no way of knowing if I was approved or not, or what my call sign was, but I called them, and she looked, she found it, and she sent me the email. Then I went to the link, looked it up, had an error in my address. They added a P.O. box, which I don't have. So I had to submit a request for correction. And then I looked again the next day and saw that it was corrected. Because I do not have a P.O. box. They're so dang expensive. And some shippers will not ship anything to a P.O. box. I suppose unless there are certain exceptions, but I have no idea how that works. But I got my call sign, so I can legally hop on my Radiodity GMR's radio and put something out there, but I tried scanning and I cannot pick up anything, so I need to get a better antenna for it. That long antenna that I did get, I thought maybe I could run through my air conditioner housing, but there are just no holes big enough for me to run it through that. So I would have to come up with some other way of maybe just doing what the guy who previously had the Iridium 242 channel. He took speaker wire, put an alligator clip on one end of it, and then he'll clip that to a radio antenna, especially if it's a metal one, and then run the other end of the wire either out through an open door or out through a window opening or some place, and then he would put it in a tree or stick it on some pole like a flagpole or an existing antenna. And then when you're done with it, you just pull that thing back in, roll it up, put it away. So I would have to find some way to get a long piece of wire that I could run out onto my deck. See, this would go into the top of my radio where my rubber duck antenna is. This is meant to be put on a vehicle because it's magnetic. But I can't run this through my air conditioner housing. It's too thick. But whatever I do for a longer antenna, I could also use that for my ham radio, because I used to be able to pick up people talking on it in addition to the NOAA weather radio. And I can pick up the NOAA weather radio on my GMRS radio. So I'm just still, I really hadn't started learning how to use that one because I wanted to get my license first. But now that I have it, I'm going to work on trying to make it easier to use, with coming up with some other kind of antenna for it. You know, I don't want to run it out my slider and have it cracked, because if I have my slider open, I would have to have the glass door also covering up the screen, because Pumpkin is a screen climber. That's why when I don't have my air conditioner running and I want to crack the windows, I can't open them very far because she'll climb the screen. But I am going to find a way to make it work where I can pick up other people on there. Just, it's so hard in the city because there are so many obstructions blocking your signal. All that stuff stuck to the side there. Later, I'll probably just throw some water in there and swirl that around. I also have a handheld CB radio, but I can't pick up much on that either, for the same reason. Just too much interference from buildings. And because I got leafed out trees outside, that blocks even more signal. But if I were to take it out into the open, then I'll be able to listen to various channels, see who's on there. Whereas back in the day, CB was it. You know, my dad had a base station plus the one in the car or truck or whatever vehicle we had. If he changed vehicles, he just moved the CB into the new one. And so sometimes we would communicate between the base that had in the house plus the one in the vehicle. Sometimes that's how we communicated. But we listened to that on long road trips because we could pick up alerts from truckers about road conditions, if there are any accidents up ahead. So yeah, definitely different forms of communication that don't require cell phones. That's a good thing to have. I need to reconnect with the local ham club. I did attend a few meetings, and one of them programmed my Belfang because I couldn't get it to work when I was trying to do it on my own with the computer and the chirp thing. But one of the guys there got it done for me because he had a different one or better software than what I was able to get a hold of. So because I don't have a ham license, I can't talk unless it's in an extreme emergency and I had no other form of communication available. I could use my ham radio to call for help. But I want to get at least a technician license. Sorry, brief disconnect. I do apologize for that. I'm glad these disconnects don't last as long as they used to when I was streaming with an older phone. But eventually I will get a ham license to go along with my GMRS. And I did show those Belfang walkie-talkies that you don't need a license for. So those came in a pair. So I could give one of those to someone and then we could talk back and forth if we're not too far away from each other. So if I go camping with some other people and I take my walkie-talkies, also known as FRS or Family Radio Service, I could take those, give one to another person, and we could communicate if we're at opposite ends of the area, but still within calling range. You know, to coordinate activity or, you know, or whatever is going on. I'm down to my first strike bar, my drinks. And next week, I'm going to pull out this version of the beef ravioli. So that will be slightly different than the ravioli that was in the Sopaco reduced sodium ration. So I'm hoping that will have a coffee in it, or cappuccino, or hot cocoa, or something other than just something like this. And the fourth MRE in the set that I got from MRE House, which the site and the emails and the promotions look so much like MRE Mountain. But that one is the chicken chunks, white cooked. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that one. I don't know if I will figure out how I can change it up, maybe have a little fun with it. It's been a few years since I last opened up the chicken chunks MRE. I don't remember what kinds of things it comes with, whether it even has an FRH or if it has any kind of condiments with it or what, because I really want to take that one, do a little something different with it. I don't know if I want to just open that one up, take that out, and pair it with some other things that I have in my ration box, some of the loose items, or combine it with some things that I have in my kitchen, or what I want to do with it. And it's just a pouch of chicken, nothing in it like a barbecue sauce or any kind of seasoning like that, or no vegetables with it, no noodles or anything like that, just cooked chicken chunks. I've heard that one got replaced, but I don't know if that one is still a thing in 2024. But I also could decide to just not even open that one up on camera and go for something like that Korean one that looks like a freeze-dried entree, has no English on that bag. I'm definitely curious about that. I could pair that with some other things and try to make a meal out of that. I got that in one of the boxes of goodies I got from other ration lovers earlier this year. And I'm definitely intrigued by it. I would have to try to translate it. As I said, there's no English on it. But I do want to open that one up on camera. Now look at all that stuff that's left in there. Yeah, of course. Plus, it helps to start to clean out my drinking jar by doing this. There's not much of that residue left in there. So those are kind of what I'm thinking about for the Sunday after next, which will be the first Sunday in September. Yeah, today's the 25th, so next Sunday is the 2nd. No, it's first. Of course, Monday being Labor Day, that's a federal holiday here in the U.S. So next Sunday will be the beef ravioli MRE, and the one after that, I will have to think about my options, what I want to do. Of course, I will be putting in another ration order, trying to get a few more. And I wanted to get some more individual side items so that I can put together meals from things I have. I have a couple of side items. I got some entrees, wet pack and freeze dried. But I don't have a whole lot of that kind of stuff. I don't have any desserts. I got one bread that I've been sitting on. I got a lot of three of them, but I ate two of them. But I want to get some more of those kinds of things. Plus full rations, so I have to look for foreign rations that are already here in the U.S. Otherwise, it's too much of a crapshoot to try to buy foreign ones that have to be shipped here. Now, eBay does have some foreign ones that are already here in the U.S. that I could order if they're still available when I'm ready to make my next order. But those other sites, it's hard to tell where the foreign items are located. You know, those two non-food items that I got from MRE House, that camp shower and that Polish emergency candle, both of those came from Poland. That shower was actually made in Germany. That Polish military candle, it's in a pop top, so I just can't pop off a plastic lid to expose the candle. It's a regular pop top like you would get off of mixed vegetable or fruit can that has the pop top. But I don't want to open it until I actually need to use that candle. I don't know how many wicks it has, but I don't want to open it to find out and then try to find a lid to recover it. I'm just going to leave it sealed up until I actually have to open it. But that's just another candle added to my stash of candles of various sizes. But I will definitely be on the hunt for additional ration items to order when I get my money for September. I just wish it wasn't so hard to get foreign rations into the U.S. without having a certain greedy types nipping. Yeah, it's not fair to us to have our stuff rated. There's a name I haven't seen in a minute. Well, you'll just have to catch the replay. But this is my dinner tonight. This is packed in 2022. Warnock does not put date codes on their bags. You have to open it to find out the production year. Although the site where I got these said inspection date of 2025. So I knew it had to be 2022, maybe late 21 or early 23. It is actually pretty darn good. And it came with this powdered hot sauce. I chose not to open this. For one thing, I didn't need it. Trying to get it to focus. There we go. No instructions on how to mix it. It just has the ingredients on this side, name of the product, and the company that produced it, and the amount. On this side, that's it. I guess you mix it to your taste. Yeah, you could just use it dry like a spice, like a chili powder. I think Old Smoky opened up one of these, and I think he did the same thing. I don't think he mixed it. I think he just sprinkled it on or whatever he wanted to put it on. So I would just treat this in the same way. But I'm going to keep this one sealed since this is the first time I've gotten one of these. Plus, it adds to my supply of seasonings that I get from Rations. And this one came with an unusual, I suppose you could call it a dessert, applesauce, but it had strawberry and carrot. Something that I would have expected to find in a humanitarian daily ration. And then in my drinking jar was a chocolate hazelnut protein drink. I think Old Smoky got one of those in a recent MRE that he opened up. But there was no hot drink option, so I got Kenyan tea in my delicious mug. Oh, I did have because I just drained it. Yep, got this from Delicious. And it came with crackers instead of tortillas. I was hoping for tortillas. But it had the cheese pretzel combos, the cheddar cheese, not, someone thought they're pizza and they said, nope, just cheddar cheese flavor pretzel combos. It had a chocolate first strike bar, the full length one, not the mini. But that Mexican chicken stew, I really do like it. The chicken was not dry. The corn had some bite to it. It had good spice in it. Didn't have to use this at all anyway. I usually don't add any seasonings to something, especially if it's something I either haven't had for a long time or I've never had before, because I just want to try it as it is. And it definitely did not need salt, especially after I put some of the combos in it. But if you can get a hold of that one, I definitely would. This one was packed in 2022. Got the FRH here. Actually, there's a date code on the sauce packet here. So I hope you can get a hold of that one because you just might like it. And that, as much as I enjoy getting the chocolate first strike bar, I think the chicken stew itself was the real winner there. I I got the cheese spread with jalapenos, so I put that in there. Oh, I saved enough for a little bit on a cracker. Oh, I hope you do. Yeah, I hope you can find some neat stuff there. I don't get to go to anything like that here. It's just not accessible to me. Occasionally we have, I'll just call them plinker shows, where people can buy certain types of shooters, but they're either at a time where I don't have the money to pay the admission because you have to buy a ticket to get in, but they have usually other items like knives and other military surplus clothing, other gear. Some people have found rations there at these shows, or I don't have the money to go there, or it's at a time where I'm not able to because I have other things that I'm already committed to doing. So I just don't get to go to those kinds of shows. I would really love to look around there to see if I can score some ration deals, because some YouTubers have gotten some good scores on MREs and other rations at these events. We lost the one surplus store we had in the area that I knew about. I just never made it over there before it closed, which is unfortunately, because I probably could have scored a couple of things there, but I either just didn't have the time or I didn't have the money to go. I should have gone just to look around, but I didn't do it. Now I'm kicking myself in the dupa for that. But I hope you have a good time at that event. I hope you find some unique stuff, even if you can't buy it, but just to look at it and see the variety that could be there. I have some Danish military wool blend socks that I love to wear during a cooler season camping. Ever since I got those, they have been my go-to camping socks because they do keep my feet warmer in the colder weather. When I'm camping in November, I have done early spring camping, but because Ramadan is going on during that time, I can't make those early spring camps yet. So until that shifts and I'm able to go join those others who do those spring camps, if they're doing it anymore, I don't know if they are. I'd have to talk to the one who has organized those before. But But yeah, those. No, they're not Norwegian. They're Danish socks that I have. They're Danish military socks. But I have some other 100% wool socks and some wool blend socks. Some of them I found in thrift stores, but some I bought new. But those Danish military socks, I really do enjoy wearing those camping. But I'll wear them any other time in winter if I have to wear wool socks to keep my feet warm. But I bought them specifically for cold weather camping. Yeah, they are underrated, and if I can score some at a good price, I have even found occasionally wood sock or wool socks in a thrift store. So if I see them, I buy them. I would like to get some lightweight wool socks for summer wear because my super cheap socks I'm starting to wear out. In fact, some I bought late last year. One, I took them to camp when I went to the lake with my family late last month and early into this month. I was getting ready to put my pajamas on in the cabin, and I take the sock off, and holy crap! I got a hole I could put this spoon end of my spork through. Yeah, I do need to find some better socks that will last longer than maybe a year. But it's hard when you can't afford the big bucks to drop on the best quality socks. But I have one pair of smart wool socks that actually I got two pairs of them that I found in thrift stores. They're thin. They're not winter socks, but I got one pair in my bug out bag, and the other pair I keep in my get home bag. Of course, in my bug out bag, I have a pair of heavyweight wool tabby socks. But I do want to get some more lightweight wool socks. That will last me a lot longer than the cheap crap ones that doesn't take too long to have a blowout. I just don't see wool socks too often in thrift stores. But I will keep looking. Just like I will keep looking for some more rations to get my paws on. So next week will be the beef ravioli. So it'll be sort of a comparison to the reduced sodium beef ravioli civilian ration that I did a few weeks ago. And that one, the sauce is too sweet for my liking. So when I put the Parmesan cheese on it, that cut through that sweetness, made it a lot better. Of course, anything pasta and tomato sauce, I gotta put Parmesan cheese on it anyway. But those low sodium ones were packed in 2018. This beef ravioli should be another 2022 pack. So I'm hoping that one will be a much better one. But that's what's coming up next week. And then the week, I have one more of these MREs that I got in this group. It's just the plain chicken chunks. I'm thinking that maybe I'll either just skip that entirely, not review it, or I just might just go sideways with it and combine it with a bunch of other things to make a meal with it, instead of just opening up the pouch of plain chicken and not having much to go with it. Or I just might pull out that Korean freeze-dried entree that I have absolutely no idea what's in it, because it's all Korean, there's no English on it. I haven't attempted to try to translate, because I would have to download the Korean language into my Translate app. But I really do want to get into that one. That one has intrigued me ever since I got it. It's supposed to be, I think, a civilian version of the military ration entree. It's in a red pack instead of the green pouch, so yeah, I use the Google Translate app on my phone, and every time I want to try a new language, I usually just add that language. But sometimes trying to translate off of something that's really shiny, almost metallic, that can be a bit hard. Yeah, Russian drink packets that were in those shiny, metallic looking packets were the worst. I could never get those to translate. But who knows, maybe I'll still give it a shot somehow. And I think for now I'm going to go ahead and call this one done. I do want to thank you all for hanging out with me. Last Sunday, again, I was not live because I was finishing up an event at my mosque where we had international food fair going on, and I wanted to do Polish, so I served pierogi and a Polish cucumber salad. I made the salad ahead of time, and then I cooked the pierogi earlier in that day, and then just stuck it in the hot boxes that we now own that caterers use to transport food from the kitchen to the serving destination. We now own actually four of those hot boxes that can hold 6 or 7 full-size steam table pans. Yeah, we own those. And they have come in so handy during Ramadan because we can prep the food ahead of time, divide it up, stick it in those hot boxes, and those things will keep it hot for 8 hours. If they're left unopened for that time. Yeah, so I do hope to see you all again. Thanks for hanging out with me. Catch you on the flip side.